Hello, my wonderful queer viewers, or otherwise, and welcome back to another video in my review and analysis of Our Dreams at Dusk, written by Yukichi Kamatani, which I need one more volume until I talk in more detail about the author and their place in their own manga. If this is your first video that you're watching of the series, I would recommend watching my other two videos on the manga before watching this one, and I will post a link of those videos in the description below, because this time, we're focusing on its third volume.
Previously on Volume 2. Tatsuku had come out of the closet to the residents of the lounge that he likes a boy in his class named Tsubaki. Tatsuku now wants to know more about the residents of the lounge, in which he meets Mizora, a young boy who likes to cross-dress, but only in the lounge. The two grow closer, Mizora liking that he knows another queer boy around his age. During a festival, Tatsuku convinces Mizora to go with him dressed in a yukata. Mizora accepts, and the two enjoy themselves at the festival. That is until a man in a crowd gropes Mizora, and when Tatsuku says something insensitive accidentally, Mizora flips out at him. He walks away in anger, not returning to the lounge. Tatsuku's decisions and choices come crashing down around him in the house that he's in charge of. Meanwhile, we've seen Tatsuku's crush Tsubaki every so often, as we suspect that he might be hiding a secret from the world and even from himself.
So let's dig into Our Dreams at Dusk Volume 3 and see why this volume is my favorite and how it contains my favorite character and character arc.
We begin Chapter 11 with Tatsuku starting a new semester of school after summer break. Before summer vacation, I got hurt and tried to kill myself. At the end of summer vacation, I hurt someone else, and even now, I'm still here, living peacefully. A week later at school, the class has a meeting about the cultural festival that's coming up in a month. The class is tasked with taking pictures around town that speaks to them. These pictures will be displayed during the festival. At home, Tatsuku looks at the picture of Mizora in a yukata, wondering if he should delete it. He abruptly gets a call, and we later see Tatsuku helping Utsumi and Daichi carry some boxes up a hill. Tatsuku apologizes for not showing up at the lounge recently, and abandoning the project he was given. We see that they are heading towards a town project, hosted by Cat Clutter, this involving families with young kids. The project is making tiles for a newly renovated house. Tatsuku is surprised and a little terrified to see Tsubaki and his father there. Utsumi and Tsubaki bond when Utsumi notices that Tsubaki does sports. Tsubaki is surprised to learn that Utsumi did volleyball in high school. Somehow, it's the same as always. Even though I put my guard up, Tsubaki-kun continues to fit in more and more. We see a mother and her daughter making the tiles, Utsumi encouraging the girl who doesn't like what she made. Utsumi and Daichi tease Tatsuku at the UFO he's making, this cheering the girl up. Utsumi-san? Yeah? Natsumi-chan? Oh, I knew it was you! It's me, Shoko Oyama! Oh wow, this really takes me back. How mysterious that we would reunite here. I'm surprised you remembered me. Well, we were both on the volleyball team in junior high and high school, so of course I would remember you. This is my daughter, May. You really did surprise me. Tell me about it. This is the most surprising thing that happened to me all year. I had only heard about this through the grapevine, but although you were tall, had short hair, and were boyish even back then, I never expected that you would really end up as a man. I see you're as lively as ever, Oyama-san. Tatsuku, now learning why Utsumi visits the lounge, looks at him, who can do nothing but smile and wave back. So, Kaname-kun, I guess Cat Clutter is run by people like that, huh? Tatsuku tries to deny this and change the topic, but Tsubaki mentions that the goldfish are doing great. Tatsuku flashing back to Mizora in the fight at the festival. Seeing a grade school girl call you a gay bastard was quite a sight. I completely forgot about the fireworks. I can't understand this, Tsubaki-kun. Do you suspect it? Or are you just teasing me? Just come out with it. If you think I'm gay, then just say so. Is it okay for me to get my hopes up? Wasn't he actually talking about me? Am I just overthinking everything? Tsubaki-kun is such a mystery that I just can't understand him. Tsubaki then invites Tatsuku to do the photograph project with him for class. None of this makes any sense. Chapter 12 starts as Tatsuku eats dinner with his mom and older brother. I don't think there's any need to tell my family that I like someone of the same sex. It's comfortable here. This is my refuge when I want to run away. At least for now. As long as I don't personally make things worse, as long as I don't say anything, I should just keep quiet.
Some people may wonder why queer kids don't come out to their family first as opposed to their friends or classmates at school. Well, it's quite simple, actually. For many queer kids, home is a safe space, a place where they have unconditional love, a place to get away if the outside world is too hard for them. Even if this safe space might be a fake one due to the queer kid lying to their family, they have to. They need at least one stable place that they know they can return to every day. I know from personal experience that the reason that I didn't come out to my family in high school was because my school life was really shitty. So I didn't want the possibility of both places becoming shitty. I could only take one. So home was a place I knew that I could always return to, even if I couldn't be my true self there at the time.
Tatsuku meets up with Tsubaki and is surprised how ecstatic Tsubaki is around ships. He is also disappointed that Tsubaki asked two girls to come along. But even so, I never considered that something like this would happen before summer break. He remembered my name. We've talked and we're looking at the same ship. I'm glad I didn't die back then. As the group watches a new ship departing the dock, the crowd watching bumps Tatsuku around, but he is caught and embraced by Tsubaki. Tatsuku can do nothing but blush and cry. As the crowd departs, Tatsuku looks at Tsubaki and sees a smug look on his face, but almost immediately is excited about the ship again. I really don't understand Tsubaki-kun at all. The four of them get ramen together as they talk about their project, and the two girls ask how Tatsuku and Tsubaki know each other. Tsubaki mentions the health committee and Cat Clutter. But the thing is, that organization is run by drag queens and others like them. Although Tatsuku said he's just been helping them out. Huh? Are you kidding me? I never would have guessed. Everyone there that remodels houses are people like that. They don't seem like bad people, but it kind of puts me on edge. Stop it, Tsubaki-kun. Tsubaki-kun! I don't think you should get involved with people like... Why do you have to say stuff like that? The group all falls silent. Sorry, one of my friends has an older sister that married a man who used to be a woman. So, I just wasn't thinking. No, I'm sorry. My bad. Later, Tatsuku and Tsubaki say their goodbyes to the two girls as they depart. Thank you, nameless girl. If she hadn't been there, what would I have done? I thought that I was going to snap again. Should I really just keep quiet about it?
What do you think is worse? Being out and facing difficult people who don't understand you? Or keeping quiet, unable to be your true self in front of other people? Which is harder to live with? And if you're not out and someone insults people that you secretly identify with, you can't say anything against them. If you're still in the closet, you have to take it. But even still, you're safe there in the closet. Safe from the toxic outside world that may try to hurt you because you're different. So I ask again, which do you think is worse?
At the lounge, everyone is surprised to see Oyama and her daughter arrive. Oyama is still calling Utsumi Natsumi. She asks if she can join Cat Clutter, loving the workshop that the organization held. In a hurry, Daichi tells Oyama that someone is the owner of the lounge. Is that her name? Ah, is this one of those things where I'm not supposed to ask what your real name is? The chapter ends as Tekiko thinks to himself that things could get ugly.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a match that is sure to glue you to your seats. In this corner, we have Oyama, a cis-straight woman who just met an old friend after many years, learning that he's now a man instead of a woman. She tries to be encouraging and nice about the subject, but her clear lack of knowledge is making some of the things she says insensitive. And in the other corner, we have Daichi, a proud lesbian who doesn't take crap from offensive people, even if it's by accident. She's very protective of her friends and also has a little anger problem. Who will win? Stay tuned! Right now!
Chapter 13 starts with Utsumi out on a bike ride. We later see Oyama and Mei continue to visit Cat Clutter to help with their renovation work, Daichi wishing that Oyama would just leave. Just calm down. We're short-handed, so what's wrong with that? I didn't say that this was a bad thing. Oyama sounds a quick worker and gladly listens to directions. She's often very considerate when it comes to stuff like the snacks she brings. And she's also very sensible as well as reliable. But I don't know you as Natsumi-chan, Utsumi-kun. You're Natsuyoshi, Utsumi-kun. I just don't want you to be forcing yourself. We also see that Tsubaki is here helping as well, though Tatsuku asks himself why he would, even after he said those things at the ramen restaurant. Tatsuku also notices the awkward mood in the house, so he asks Tekiko to play some of his music. Unfortunately, Tekiko says that the gramophone is in for repairs. It was given to him by an old friend, and is very precious to him, and he refuses to listen to any music until the gramophone is fixed. Tsubaki notices that Mei seems like she doesn't want to be here, and was just dragged along by her mom. But then, Tsubaki gets an idea to make patterns on the leftover tiles from the workshop, encouraging Mei to participate. While they do this, Tsubaki continues to tease Tatsuku about the fact that he knows that gay people work at Cat Clutter. Tsubaki-kun's really scary when I'm right next to him. My heart goes up and down just like I'm on a roller coaster. It's frightening. But still, I'm learning more about him whenever I'm near him. and I want to learn even more about him. I think I'm gonna fall even more in love with him. By the way, do you swing that way too? Tatsuku's face falls. Oyama says that if Tatsuku is gay, it doesn't bother her at all. She also recommends ideas of what Tatsuku should do with the house he's in charge with. But Utsumi steps in and says that whatever happens to the house, Tatsuku is in charge of it. Oyama apologizes for getting carried away. And Natsumi-chan, you've really matured. You always stood out back then, but you were quiet and reserved. Did you like anyone back then? Utsumi admits that he did have a crush on a girl in their class. Everyone on the volleyball team always said that you were so tall and cool looking, Natsumi-chan. Ah, come to think of it, I've been thinking about setting up a reunion for the volleyball team. What do you think? Oyama says that she can get in touch with everyone, though Utsumi wonders if they'd be surprised if they saw him. Isn't this that sort of disorder where the gender of your body and mind don't match? Being gay is something else entirely, after all.
Oh, and that's another blow by the unintentional offensive cis-straight woman. It's clear that she did research after her reunion with Utsumi, and what her knowledge only goes as far as the scientific definitions. Let's see what happens next.
The room falls silent as Daichi seems to get angrier and angrier. Thanks. When I'm ready, I'll tell them myself. So, it's okay. Really? If only you had told me then. But I'm so happy that we can now be honest with each other like this, Natsumi-chan. So don't worry and just try thinking about the reunion. It's okay. All of them will accept you. Two things happen at once. Daichi, in her anger, punches the wall, and Mei drops the box of tiles she was carrying. Oyama apologizes, and she heads out to take Mei home. I love these panels of Saiki taking pictures of Daichi's fist embedded into the wall. Tatsuku joins Utsumi on a bike ride. Utsumi mentions Tsubaki, surprised that he's the son of the Community Development Department's director. He asks if Tatsuku likes him, and he says yes. Utsumi also notices that Tatsuku wants to ask him about something. Are you thinking about Oyama-san? Well, interacting with her is a little hard. It's like she's enamored or has this all-out kindness about her. I don't live my life by getting all that worked up over wanting others to see and accept me for who I really am. You're not bothered by it? Oyama-san is nice, and she isn't a bad person, and I'm not a good person. Utsumi then proceeds to bike faster and screams into the road below him, cursing everything around him. He stops though, smiles at Tatsuku, and laughs. He doesn't live his life by getting all worked up. He's just Utsumi-san. This isn't about being a man, coming out, or being understood. He's just Utsumi-san. What can I say to someone who has decided what to say and what not to say? What about Mizuta-san? If he ran off because of my all-out kindness, then isn't it too difficult to interact with someone without hurting one another? I feel like keeping quiet about it is best after all. Chapter 14 starts with a dream. A young kid is erasing the word die on their desk. Hey, wanna come play together? Or we could just watch? Let's go together. Utsumi-san, you can cut it out now. Stop making fun of me. Utsumi wakes up from an old nightmare and gets ready for the day. Coming out of the closet is easy. It may be easy, but you need to be prepared for both sides to get hurt. We then see that Utsumi ended up going to the volleyball team reunion after all. We flash to the lounge as we see that Oyama has left Mei with them while she's out at the reunion. Daichi upset and worried for Utsumi. Utsumi-kun isn't as vocal about it as I am, but then he doesn't hide who he is at all costs either. I just hope someone like Oyama-san doesn't thoughtlessly hurt him. Oyama-san is concerned about Utsumi-san and wants to do something for him. That much I understand. Yeah, she cares about him. So she means well. But that's also really hard to deal with. You can fight against malice, but there's no point in fighting good intentions. I'd be scared too.
And now we get to the real meat of things and asking why Tsubaki doesn't just tell Oyama to stop or even yell at her. Honestly, it's kind of hard to get angry at someone who really is nice and doing their best, even if Oyama is being accidentally offensive and insensitive.
Technically, Oyama isn't doing anything wrong. She just doesn't know everything about transgender individuals in the queer community. So what she thinks is right might actually be wrong. And it's hard to yell at someone like that, someone who is really trying. If Oyama was being hateful towards Utsumi from the start, that'd be easy. Everyone would be like, fuck her, and yell her out. But she's not being intentionally mean. So what's Utsumi to do? It also doesn't help that Utsumi isn't a guy to get angry in public over this. As Daichi said, Utsumi isn't as vocal as she is. He doesn't get upset like Daichi does, as evident when Daichi confronted Tsubaki's father in the second volume.
And drawing from a personal experience, if I may, I really relate to this. Mostly in the little things that people will say to me. Most of the time, they're not trying to be mean or anything. Family members and coworkers slipping up sometimes, calling me by my dead name or referring to me as he. I work in customer service, so customers will call me sir over the phone. And even if I'm wearing a push-up bra that shows off my breasts and when I'm wearing makeup, customers will still do the same. Hopefully, they're not doing it on purpose. They just might not know any better. Society has taught them that people with deep voices like mine are male, so you can't get angry at them. But you still feel so upset. And I'm sure that's exactly what Utsumi is feeling right now.
Tatsuku admits that he probably did the same to Mizora what Oyama is doing to Utsumi. But Saiki assures them that Utsumi will be fine. He chose to do this and they have to respect that. Saiki brings them all in for a group hug, including Mei, who seems like she's come to enjoy the lounge and the people in it. Back at the reunion, Utsumi heads to the bathroom. The women fall silent and laugh a little while he's gone. When he returns, one of the women asks him what he does about going to the bathroom, but he just says that he went to the men's room. After all, it would freak people out if he went into the ladies' room. The women laugh with him. You shouldn't ask private stuff like that. That's like asking someone who's sick this or that about their prognosis. Even if you're friendly about it, it's not really polite. All the women apologize to Utsumi, but he really doesn't want them to worry about it. They tell Utsumi that they wish that he had come out back in high school, so that they could have understood him better. When I was in grade school, I called out to an isolated girl in my class. I didn't have one shred of malice towards her. It's just that I had to say something, but she could see beyond my feelings of wanting to help her. There was an unconscious desire to be superior to her, so I couldn't deny how shameful I had been.
Even queer people can accidentally be insensitive like that. We're all human. We feel like we're helping people naturally, but aren't some of us doing it because we want to feel better about ourselves? And doesn't that make us sort of want to feel superior to this marginalized person? So similar to Utsumi as a child in that moment, Oyama is doing the same.
She and other cis straight people like her will act nice and thoughtful towards queer people. But sometimes, even if they don't realize that, they might be doing it to feel better about themselves, so that they can assure themselves that they aren't homophobic or transphobic.
You know, those people who are accused as racist will defend themselves not being racist so hard that it kind of comes across as if they're covering up for something. They'll say something like, oh, some of my best friends are black, or whatever race that they're being accused of being racist towards. Little do they know that by saying things like that, instead of taking a step back and investigating for yourself, was whatever they did racist or not, makes you racist.
Same can be said for people being accused of being homophobic or transphobic. You are so focused on not being thought of as bigoted because people will look down on you that you lose sight of what's important, like figuring out what you may have done wrong and working to fix it. It also doesn't help that Oyama is a little bit of a control freak. Not in a bad way, but just in the fact that she doesn't think about other people's opinions and feelings first. You know that person who what they think they know is right and don't take the time to see if what they're thinking is truly right or wrong? Or when someone gets an idea in their head and can't be persuaded otherwise, despite the other person's protest? That's exactly how Oyama is. How she wormed her way into cat clutter. Why she continues to call Utsumi Natsumi, despite others at the lounge calling him Utsumi. Also like how she drags Mei along to help even though Mei seems to have no interest. Not to mention her attempts at being respectful to Utsumi and the people at the lounge.
She's not a bad person, but she also doesn't think about others first. Not a narcissist per se, but she has qualities of one. She thinks what she's doing is best for everyone, but she doesn't really know everyone.
I've taught my daughter to call out to kids like that if they're her classmates. School is really prominent in the life of a child, after all. I want to keep giving others opportunities to understand sexual minorities. Natsumi-chan, you could give a talk at my daughter's school. Why do you not consider the possibility that your daughter or others in your family might be people like that? Thanks, Oyama-san. But I've had enough. Utsumi leaves the restaurant and him and Oyama meet up with Tatsuku and Mei. Oyama is still trying to convince Utsumi about speaking at her daughter's school. Utsumi objects, but Oyama still probes him. Oyama-san, I certainly was born with a female body, and am now living as a man. When I was a kid, I didn't understand anything, and I just felt uneasy and scared. But it's not like I want to make that a part of my identity. And I'm not trying to get all of humanity to understand everything about me. I'm happy for your feelings, but I want you to let me take care of my own situation.
All transgender experiences are different. So it only makes sense that certain transgender individuals might identify themselves in a different way from other transgender individuals. Some are out and proud, like me, loving being transgender, being unique, and being different from the norm. Others just want to be people and not be forced to have a label be put on them. And you know what? Both viewpoints are completely valid.
It's clear that Utsumi falls somewhere in the second category. He's out about being transgender, but he doesn't go out of his way to say it to someone he's meeting for the first time. Truthfully, he just wants to be known as Utsumi. That's it. And that's perfectly fine. But if you give up trying to inform others, no one will understand. I don't want people like you to be misunderstood, Natsumi-chan.
She's trying to be nice. She really wants to help Utsumi. But her first problem, among so many others, is that she continues to call Utsumi Natsumi.
You're different from someone who's gay, so you should make that very clear to everyone. If you're gonna hurt my friends like that, I don't want to be the only one you'll understand. Oyama-san, I don't want you to belittle me or anyone else. Tatsuku looks on in amazement at Utsumi as they walk away, Mei squeezing Oyama's hand, as if she's trying to tell her mother to stop all this. We then see Tsubaki at the lighthouse taking pictures, as someone floats down to him and offers him ice cream. Tsubaki says that he was initially weirded out by the people at the lounge, but has grown to like them and thinks their job is cool. I was reluctant to get involved with that gay and gender identity stuff and whatnot, but I'm surprised how normal they all are, so I'm kinda relieved. But I guess that means Tatsuku's gay too. What would you do if he was? What would I do? Nothing. That's just disgusting. I see. What are you scared of? Someone gives Tsubaki their usual lines of that he can tell them anything, but they won't ask. Tsubaki questions who someone is. A lesbian? Someone who used to be a guy or a girl? Then what are you? A guy? Or a girl? Or are you gay? Listen to what I'm saying. I'm not here to listen. Then keep your comments to yourself and just shut up! Someone leads Tsubaki to mull over the things that he does not want to think about.
Like I've been saying for the last 2 volumes, someone seems to exist both as a real-life person and as an abstract idea.
They appear in front of those who are questioning themselves about being queer, and maybe they are even thinking about dying. They appeared in front of Tatsuku when he was thinking of jumping off the bridge. They appeared in front of Daichi when she was struggling to come out to her parents about being a lesbian. They appeared in front of Mizoda after the festival incident and he was questioning his love for cross-dressing. And now they've appeared in front of Tsubaki, who may also be suspecting his own sexuality, but is dying inside from denying to accept it.
Someone is still a person full of so much mystery, and an answer to that identity won't be truly identified until the last volume.
Chapter 15 starts with Tsubaki at volleyball practice. He's losing focus and missing passes, not helped by the fact that someone continues to appear before him, questioning of Tsubaki if he's gay. Later, Tatsuku and Tsubaki help set up for their class's exhibit for the cultural festival, but Tsubaki seems less cheerful than usual, and even tries to leave, saying that Tatsuku can do this on his own. Tatsuku tries to ask him to stay and help. Just shut up. You really want to be with me that much? Is it because you have a thing for me? The two boys glare at each other as Tsubaki leaves the classroom, saying that was just a joke. No need to get angry. I'm surprised. Instead of getting embarrassed or thinking, why'd you have to say something like that? The feeling I felt well up in an instant was anger. There's no use in getting mad, even after getting really hurt because of that joke. I was scared of Tsubaki-kun hating me for good. Tatsuku asks someone if they ever get angry, that if they ever fought regret about it. If you get mad, you get worn out. And if you don't get mad, it won't get through. If you live without getting mad, at the very least, you could end up invisible. Tatsuku thinks that someone is just sidestepping the question, not giving a clear answer as usual. The culture festival starts and finishes, with Tatsuku doing the class exhibit by himself. But Tsubaki arrives and Tatsuku tries to ask him if he would like to help clutter on the weekend. I'm not going to that gay hangout anymore. I know all about it. My dad works at City Hall and he said that it's that kind of meeting place. My dad probably thinks it's his obligation to keep it a secret. Don't you go there because you're one of them? Isn't that someone woman the leader? Where's this coming from all of a sudden? Is she alright? She wasn't making any sense when I talked to her. Tsubaki-kun, isn't she just gathering up her gay friends to do something bad? You guys almost dragged me into it too. Why? Why? When I thought about that, I really started to get pissed off. What's with those people? Even though they should just hide the fact that they're gay or lesbian, they're so open about it while trying to do that volunteer work. Even with Utsumi-san, when that woman revealed that he used to be a woman, all he did was laugh like an idiot. Whether you're gay or not, I don't care as long as you don't come near me. Even though you should just keep quiet, people are gonna hate you if you gather together and stand out. All of you guys disgust me!
And now we can finally dive into the main themes and symbolism of this third volume. As a refresher, in the first volume, it was the act of coming out of the closet, as symbolized by using the crowbar to break down the walls that you've put up around yourself. In the second volume, it was the act of being confined to a small space, where you are unsure of yourself and you don't want to show your true self to the outside world, as symbolized by the goldfish trapped in their own little bowl. And here in this third volume, the main theme is the act of people not understanding each other, as symbolized by UFOs.
This theme and symbolism has different layers to it in how it relates to different characters. For one, throughout this volume, Tatsuku has been unable to understand Tsubaki at all. He is unsure if Tsubaki knows that Tatsuku is gay or not. He's seen him with Cat Clutter, an organization run by queer people, and he knows that he visits the lounge often. Does Tsubaki know or not? Some of his actions seem to suggest it, like asking vague questions about it but then quickly changing the subject. He also gets close to Tatsuku and embraces him, giving him a smug knowing look, but he still doesn't say anything about it. Because of all of this, Tatsuku doesn't understand his crush. He's like an alien to him. He can't ask him directly after all, because if Tsubaki truly doesn't know that Tatsuku is gay, then that would reveal his secret for sure.
All that can be said for Tsubaki as well, in how he views Tatsuku and the other queer members of the lounge.
He doesn't know about queer people. Stuff like that doesn't have easy access in Japan, and it certainly isn't something that's being taught in schools. So he has no way of knowing about these queer people without looking it up for himself. Unlike any person in the queer community, these people can be seen as weird and different to them. And they are showing off these differences, having pride in them. Isn't that weird? Isn't that alien? So that's how Tsubaki sort of sees the queer community. Though at the same time, it's also how he views himself. It's no secret that Tsubaki is questioning the fact that he's gay, or maybe bisexual, since it seems like it was said before that he had an interest in girls. If Tsubaki sees queer people as weird and different, then if he's a queer person, then he's weird and different. He's an alien as well. So he traps himself in his own UFO while cursing queer people that are out and proud about their queerness. Because he's in the closet about it to himself, so people who are out are just disgusting. He wants to believe that he's only thinking this way because those people did something to him, not wanting to admit to himself that being around queer people has only made him question his own sexuality.
When we don't understand someone else, they seem alien to us. And they might think the same about us as well. So, it's like we're all trapped in our own UFOs, unable to truly understand each other.
But Tatsuku rips open the UFO's window and climbs in, screaming that that's enough. Don't belittle me or the others. I think I'm gay. I like you. Tsubaki-kun. I just like you. That's all. That's enough for me. I was scared. I like guys and my heart races when I look at guys. So I was scared of others finding out. From when I was a kid, I thought I probably had to keep this a secret forever. I couldn't tell my parents, my friends, or anyone. I was lonely and afraid. But after I met the others at the lounge, I felt that I wasn't alone anymore. And as for someone, I can't really understand her. And she won't give me a straight answer no matter what I talk to her about. But she doesn't deny me. So I'm glad I met someone like her. I don't need you to talk to me, Tsubaki-kun. Just watching you was enough. That's what I thought. So during summer break, I'll never forget when you called out to me after that health committee meeting. Going together to that shipyard to take pictures, eat ramen, and help to remodel the house with cat clutter was so much fun. I was happy just from thinking how nice it was, hoping that things could keep going like this. But now, that's not going to work anymore. I want you to know that what you've said has hurt me. It's not like I want you to apologize or accept me. I just don't want you to hurt anyone else. I don't want to see the guy I like hurting anyone else anymore. A giant ship seems to appear beneath Tsubaki and pictures fly around them. And in my favorite panel of the volume, we see pictures of the time they spent together forming into a ship. Tsubaki starts to cry and he apologizes. As they leave each other outside, Tsubaki says that he's glad that he got to talk with Tatsuku. I still don't really know what's going on with Tsubaki-kun, but I feel like I know that he's harboring something painful. He's annoyed, upset, and doesn't know what to do. I know, because those tears were just like mine from that summer day a little while ago. Back at the lounge, we see that Takiko's gramophone has been fixed. Mei visits the lounge to do homework until her mom comes to pick her up. Tatsuku says that Oyama doesn't stop by the lounge anymore. Mei might have been shy around them at first, maybe feeling the same way that Tatsuku did, but she likes being at the lounge now. This distance probably won't shorten. You can't gauge the sense of distance between people unless you're sometimes in conflict with each other. That sort of thing will smash gentle hearts, But silence needs to be broken for some things, so as to live while riding the same boat. Even if we can't understand each other, I want to live in a world where we can live without having to understand each other. We end the volume with Tatsuku finally deciding what to do with the house he's in charge of. They should host Daichi and Psyche's wedding there.
To no one's surprise, this third volume of Our Dreams At Dusk is fucking fantastic, and it's my favorite volume out of the four. And just like the other two times, the writing and art is top-notch. Though surprisingly, I do have a small nitpick with this volume in terms of its art.
When I first read the third volume online long ago, I continued to mistake Tsubaki for Utsumi and vice versa. They do have similar character designs, so it would take me a moment to figure out who was talking. After multiple reads, including a physical one, I figured out who is who very easily, but their similar character designs could confuse first-time readers.
But again, that's just a nitpick. The art is great as it always is, especially in its visual storytelling. As I mentioned before multiple times, Utsumi is my favorite character and has my favorite character arc, and it's also because I identify with him so much. And it goes beyond the fact that we are both transgender.
Whenever someone is accidentally insensitive towards us, we just take it. We aren't vocal and we don't want to make a scene about it in public. The difference between us, though, is that I'm out and proud about being transgender while Utsumi isn't. He's not denying the fact, but he also isn't telling everyone he meets either. Again, all transgender experiences are different, but even Utsumi knows when enough is enough. He still doesn't yell at Oyama, but he's clearly angry and upset. He perfectly articulates his feelings to her, and then calmly leaves. That's just how Utsumi is, and I certainly would not have been calm in that situation. This is also my favorite character arc because it addresses issues that are never really talked about in the queer community. How it's hard to get angry at someone who isn't trying to be mean or hurtful, but are accidentally insensitive and offensive. You can of course get angry at them, but some don't. How do you get angry at someone who isn't doing something bad on purpose? They're just being nice, that's all.
It's a hard topic to talk about, and one that I certainly don't have all the answers for. But I like that Our Dreams At Dusk opens this up for discussion, because I honestly never hear this talked about anywhere else. I also found Tsubaki's arc to be great as well. Helped that this has been going on for 3 volumes now, so the climax of the arc feels significant and impactful for the character.
We've continued to see Tatsuku's crush in the background, slowly interacting with him more and more. In the second volume, we see that he might be similar to Mizoda in both their love for goldfish, and how the symbolism of the second volume might affect him as well. And this is the volume where all this comes full force. He starts visiting the lounge and helping Cat Clutter with renovations. He begins to suspect Tatsuku of being gay, and starts to play coy with him, never revealing if he truly knows or not. And that might be because Tsubaki is questioning if he is actually queer too. It's like he's testing the waters, teasing Tatsuku and visiting the lounge to see what it's like being around gay people, but not revealing anything to anyone, because it might reveal it to himself as well. But this happens when someone confronts Tsubaki and asks him if he's gay. This is the ultimate tipping point for Tsubaki, getting pissed off at someone and everyone at the lounge. He also lashes out at Tatsuku, who became too comfortable being around Tsubaki. He calls everyone at the lounge, everyone in the queer community, weird and different, like aliens, while at the same time calling himself an alien as well. It's only by Tatsuku breaking down Tsubaki's walls and clearly telling him everything does Tsubaki see that everything he did was wrong. Tatsuku finally admitting to Tsubaki that he's gay and that he likes him. He refuses Tsubaki, a boy that he likes, to be mean and hurtful towards those that he cares about. This also includes Tsubaki himself. Tsubaki apologizes and later thanks Tatsuku for talking with him.
It's a really good character arc, and we'll have to see where Tsubaki's character goes when we look at the next volume. And finally, just like with the other 2 volumes, the themes and symbolism presented in the 3rd volume is interesting and unique.
Don't people who we don't understand and are different from us something like aliens? Something foreign, not human, not of this planet? A different being from you that you can't really understand. This applies to queer people with people who aren't, not knowing if it's safe to be themselves around them, not knowing if they know anything about their queerness or not. It applies towards people looking at queer people. Again, they are different from them, so they're weird and disgusting. Like an alien. I know that I'm a human being, but this person isn't like me, so they're like an alien. And finally, it also applies to oneself, when someone is wondering if they themselves are different and weird too from the norm. They are feeling different, they themselves might be an alien.
We see people who are different from us as aliens in their own little UFOs, while also being trapped in our own UFO as well, as if we feel somewhat different from normal society. In the end, the 3rd volume of Our Dreams At Dusk is my favorite out of the 4. It expands on characters that we haven't gotten to know yet, like Utsumi, and continues the stories of other characters like Tatsuku and Tsubaki. With each new member of the lounge that Tatsuku is getting to know, he's learning more and more about the difficulties of being in the queer community. But at the same time, these experiences are making him stronger, strong enough to fight against these difficulties when they reach him. We've only got one more volume of Our Dreams at Dusk left, so I'll catch you then.